above my head, I hear music in the air. Up above my head, there's a melody so bright and fair I can hear when I'm all alone. And even in those times when I feel all hope is gone, up above my head, I hear joy bells ringing. Up above my head, I hear angels singing. There must be a God somewhere. There must be a God somewhere. Up above my head, I hear music in the air. Up above my head, there's a melody so bright and fair I can hear when I'm all alone. And even in those times when I feel all hope is gone, up above my head, I hear joy bells ringing. Up above my head, I hear angels singing. There must be a God somewhere. There must be a God somewhere. There must be a God somewhere. I hear music in the air. I hear music everywhere. There must be a God somewhere. Oh, there must be a God somewhere. There must be a God somewhere.
For over 30 years, Dennis Merritt Jones is his name. He's been a leader in the New Thought movement, in the human potential movement, in spiritual movements in our greater community. As an author, a best-selling author of 8 books. 8 books, right? And as a mentor and as a teacher, as a minister, he had his own center before. He's a friend of certainly CSL Seattle and the CSLs and Unities and all sorts of centers around the world and certainly the United States. And a longtime friend of Reverend Kathy Ann, of Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann, our own. As I was creating this weekend and thinking about hosting him, I was talking to different people, and people would reflect back to me words that you would use to describe him. And some of them were like kindness, wisdom, funny, humor, grace, the willingness to co-create, and always a desire to be of service, and always a desire to offer the gifts that he has to the world. As I was looking up, creating this sort of bio, I looked up on his website, and there was this little description, a paragraph that speaks to me as to the man that I know, and I've come to know this past few months. Throughout his life, Dennis has been on a quest to inspire and lift people to a higher expression of life. His personal vision is to guide people to their purpose, knowing that when one is fully awakened to who they are and why they are on the planet, they begin to naturally share their gift with humankind, and in the process, create an enriching life for themselves and for the world around him. Now that's a vision I can get behind. That's an invitation to the man that I've come to know. I'm grateful to get to know him. I'm grateful to have read his books and seen some of his things online. Some of his books, as you may know, last month was our book of the month was The Art of Abundance. The other couple that we have here are The Art of Uncertainty, The Art of Being, Encouraging Words, and The Redefining Moments. Those are just some of the books. He's also written for Huffington Post, been a columnist for the Science of Mind magazine, the November Science of Mind magazine. He's featured in that as doing the daily inspirations. So we're lucky to have him. We're lucky to host him. And he's going to say he's lucky to be here too. So we have that reciprocal arrangement, reciprocal agreement. So thank you for being here. Let's, as a CSL community, give him a warm welcome and welcome Dennis Merritt Jones.
Excuse me. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm enchanted by the graphics you guys put up here. This is amazing. It's amazing. It's a rhetorical question, but do you really understand how blessed you are with this spiritual community, with your leaders, Kathy Ann? Yeah. So I have a question for you this morning. And I ask this a lot. If you come this afternoon to a workshop, I'll ask it several times. Make sure that you're awake. How are you breathing right now? How are you breathing? Other than in and out, how are you breathing? The reason I ask that, and one of my primary focuses in my ministry and my teachings is the practice of mindfulness. And to understand that when we breathe intentionally and we're focused on our breath, it anchors us, it tethers us to the present moment, which is the only place, note this, that life can be waiting to bestow its gifts upon us is in the present moment. But we have to be available to the present moment to receive those gifts. So take the breath and realize that's the tether that brings you to the present moment. What a blessing it is, huh? Shake your head like this. Can I get a witness? Come on, that means yes, okay? Or you can do this. If you don't agree, do that. That's okay. So what we're going to talk about this morning is a talk based on my book, The Art of Uncertainty. And the juiciness is in the subtitle, How to Live in the Mystery of Life and Love It. And I want you to know, every book I've ever written comes from, not because I'm trying to write best-selling books, but because it's how I learn. I firmly believe that we teach what we need to learn. And so every book I've written, I've moved through the pages as being my life and took notes, essentially, downloaded ideas from the divine. So probably you'd all be, I'm sure, agree with the fact that life is a mystery, whether we like it or not. Think about this. We come from the ultimate mystery. We come from the ethers of the unknown. Who knows where we come from? Our soul essence lands in these bodies, which are nothing more than carbon-based, biodegradable, disposable vessels that we use temporarily, and that we eject at some point and go back to the ethers from which we came. What's not mysterious about that? That's a mystery. It's amazing. And yet, if you think about it, from the time we land on this planet until the time we leave is no less a mystery. There's no less uncertainty in our daily lives than there is from where we've come and where we're going to go when we leave here. And yet we go through life kind of comatose until something pops up in front of us that's scary, and then this uncertainty, the issue of uncertainty arises in front of us, and we have to dance with it. We have to learn how to navigate with it. And uncertainty affects every area of our lives. Every relationship we have, our careers, the economy, what's going on in politics, holy bananas. There's a lot of uncertainty on the planet right now. Can I get a witness for that? So it's not a matter of making uncertainty go away, because it ain't going to go away. The question is, how can we learn to live, to coexist with uncertainty in a way that it enhances our experience on the planet rather than diminishes it? Yeah. So this is what I would propose to you. What if we could change our perception and perspective about uncertainty and see it truly as a mystery? See life through the eyes. What is the root word for mystery? Mystique. mystic. Okay. What if we could see life through the eyes of a mystic? We're all mystics. Can I get a witness for that? Whether you like it or not. Some of us, the good news is some of us are optimistics. And some of us are, yeah. And so here's the question that I want to lead into to go where we're going to go for the next 20 minutes or so. Metaphorically, every day you're standing on the edge of the unknown. You get out of bed in the morning, you don't know what's going to happen that day, right? Nobody does. So would you rather be standing on the edge of the unknown next to an optimist or a pessimist? The optimist, the pessimist is saying, don't look down. You could lose everything. You could lose everything. And the optimist is saying what? Look up. Trust. Know. There's something within you that knows how to get you to what is next. If you're willing to take a breath, do your part. Yeah, to do your part. And so, living as a optimistic it came to us naturally as children. We were born optimists. Every child, you ever had a 2-year-old in your life? You see, they're exploring everything. They're all over the place. They're open-minded. They want to know what is out there. And what do we do as loving parents and caretakers? We reel them in. We put them in a box. We say, stay in this box, live here, and you'll be safe, you'll be okay. Color within the lines. Don't go outside the lines because it's not safe. And what happens is, as we grow, we bring that message with us into adulthood. And metaphorically, we grow as when we turn into pessimists, we walk the same box back and forth every day because we're told not to go outside the box. And pretty soon, it gets deeper and deeper, and we're in a rut. And you all know what a rut is, right? Yeah. What is it? You spin your tires. A rut is a grave with no ends on it. And a lot of people stay stuck in the rut their entire lives. Anybody in here in a rut? You ready to get out? How do you get out of a rut? Well, there's 2 ways that we move out of the rut, metaphorically. One is through desperation. When it hurts too much to stay where we're at, we get pushed out of the rut. And it can be painful, scary. And yet, getting out of the rut is better than staying in the rut, even if we're pulled out by desperation. The problem is that desperation comes fear and doubt. Or we can be lifted out of the rut by inspiration. Love and trust rather than fear and doubt. Okay. I got that idea from my friend Gary Zukoff. Love and trust. I'd much rather live from an orientation of love and trust than fear and doubt. Can I get a witness? And you know what? There's nowhere we can look for a better example of how inspiration, when we listen to it, it motivates us to come to the edge of everything we know and lean over and trust. And that's to look to nature. Nature is one of the best teachers that we can ever look to if we want to learn how to live life naturally. Okay. Now, I'm sharing a true story with you. In California, where I used to live, we lived up in the hills. We opened up to the open space behind us. There was a lot of wildlife, critters and whatnot. And every spring, at the same time, a family of birds would come and build a nest under the patio awning outside the back window. And we had a kitchen, a bay window kitchen in the window that we could stand and see the birds build the nest. They laid the eggs, hatched the eggs, the chicks grew, and I was very fortunate to be there the morning that the chicks decided it was time to leave the nest. This is a true story. I'm watching. The first chick gets out and walks along the ledge of the patio awning, right? Looks down. It's about a 10-foot drop, right? And the chick flapping these things, these appendages. He has no idea what they are, right? He's never used them. Doesn't have any idea what they are. He leans over, looks down, doing this. He looks up again. Seriously, he looked up at me. I don't speak birdese, but if I could read his face, I would say he was thinking, holy bananas, that's a long way down. I could lose everything. And yet something caused him to stay on that edge. He flapped his wings like this. He leaned over, and I think he flapped his wings so hard purposely that it caused him to lose his balance and fall into the call of gravity. What happened? Audience participation. He flew, right, exactly right. He flew around one time around the patio and went out and lit on an avocado branch of a tree in the back orchard. Second chick came out, did the same thing. Leaped off, looked down, flew, one time landed on the avocado tree with his sibling. Third one did the same thing, out on the tree. So now there's 3 chicks out in the avocado orchard sitting on the branch of a tree, chirping away. And the fourth chick, a little smaller than the rest of them, he comes to the edge like the others. He leans down, he does this, he looks like this, and he runs up and jumps back in the nest. Remind you of your kids? And he stood there for a good 5 minutes in the nest. And his siblings were out in the orchard cheering away, chirping, chirp, 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 chirp. And if I could, they were probably saying, come on, Irving, you can do it. Trust. Just get in, come to the edge and lean over and go. Finally, he got out of the nest, literally, came to the edge, didn't look down, he just jumped. What did he do? He did. And he flew around, landed on the branch with his 3 siblings, and for about 5 minutes they stood there chirping away. And yeah, they were just celebrating. You realize they had just done something remarkable. They had broken bonds with Earth for the first time. And then together, I mean, they were happy. They were getting little birdie high fives. They were celebrating the moment, experiencing the joy of going outside of their boundaries. And then they took off together in perfect unison, flew one big victory lap around the orchard, and they were off into the ethers to explore their birdness. True story. Now, what I noticed afterward is I thought about this, and I thought, the whole time those birds were standing on the ledge, not once did I see mom or dad bird with them, coaching them, right? There was no mom standing next to the baby bird saying, okay, honey, flap your wings, lean forward, trust and know, say your positive affirmations, everything's going to be fine. No guidance at all. And yet, the bird knew what to do. How is that? How is that? There's something within the bird that knew what it was. There's something within the bird that knew how to fly, even if the bird didn't know how to fly yet. And yet the bird had to play a role, didn't he or she? Had to come to the edge, trust that innate, instinctual nature within the bird knew what it was doing, and fall into gravity and flew. Now, I would pose this to you. If God, the beloved, would instill in a bird the wisdom, the knowledge, and the instinctual ability to do what it needed to do in order for it to survive and to go on to what is next, do you not think that the infinite intelligence that put you here would instill the same wisdom within you? In the animal world, it's called instinct. In the human world, it's called intuition. It's talking to us all the time, but we don't listen. We don't listen. You know, there's an interesting statement in Zen. It says, move and the way will open. Move and the way will open. It doesn't say sit there and hope, and maybe the way will open. If it does, then you can go through it. No, move and the way will open. Ernest Holmes said it another way. Treat, 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 and move your feet. Yeah. So how are you breathing right now? Because I'm going to give you 3 questions you can ask yourself on a daily basis that will help you not only come to the edge, metaphorically, of whatever is keeping you stuck in your life, but leaning into it in a way that you know there's something within you that knows how to get you to what is next, if you're willing to do your part. You with me? Yeah. Okay, the first question is this. What role does fear play in keeping me stuck? Yeah, take a breath. That's a big one, isn't it? What role does fear play in keeping me stuck? Fear, let's be very clear about something. I do not want to demonize fear. Because a modicum of fear is good in our lives, and it's not supposed to not be there, right? I mean, most of us wouldn't be here, arrived in adulthood if we hadn't had some fear guiding us along the way as we grew, right? And yet the problem is, as children, we dragged a lot of fears into adulthood that don't belong there. They don't belong there, but we still live from them. You know, a child is only born only with two natural fears. You know what they are? The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Other than that, now take a breath. Other than that, every fear we have is acquired. It's learned. And this is what I'd propose to you, that which we've learned, we can unlearn. That doesn't mean the fear goes away, but it means we change our perception and perspective of it that allows us to see it in such a light that it does not keep us from moving forward with our life. It actually can partner with us and help us get there if we understand it. Okay? Have you noticed that when you have a choice to make or a decision to make and you have to move forward, sometimes your mind will send out an advanced reconnaissance patrol into the darkness to explore what's going on. It'll report back to you, and too often it comes back and says, don't do that, don't go there, you know. And so we stay stuck. We stay stuck. Now there's three touchstones to fear I want to share with you very quickly that will help you discern how to not get rid of fear, because you won't, but to deal with it in a manner that it serves you. Okay? The first touchstone is to realize that you can run, but you cannot hide from fear. Why? It's not out there. Fear ascends from within us, triggered by something out there. But it comes from within, not out there. And oftentimes what happens when that fear arises, we spin and turn, if not literally, metaphorically, to the refrigerator or the medicine cabinet or the liquor cabinet or the shopping mall. You know, there's lots of barges departing down the river of denial all the time. And yet we have to come back at some point to that place where our mind and our body are in the same place. And too often, our fear is waiting there for us like a loyal little puppy dog going, can we pick up where we left off? So you can run, but you can't hide. Get clear on that. You can run, but you cannot hide. So the next time that fear ascends, don't numb it up. Don't run from it. It has, and that brings me to the second and third point of fear. The second point of fear is to understand that all fear is attached to a concern of death. We could say attached to a concern of loss. Same thing. Okay. And it's not always a fear of our dying physically. Sometimes it's a fear of loss of a career, the death of a relationship, the death of a job, the death of a bank account, the death of a lifestyle, the death of a reputation. It goes on and on and on. This fear hides behind many different masks. And I cover that in great detail in this book. And I processed this. This isn't head knowledge, this is experience. My own way of understanding that I had to teach what I needed to learn. Okay. So, understand you can run but you can't hide, that all fear is attached to a concern of loss of something. And it's why we have to be conscious and present with our fear, which is the third touchstone, which is fear can be your teacher if you let it teach you. I do a workshop on this book where I lead people in a guided meditation where I bring them out on the dance floor. And I have them pick their greatest fear from around the chairs. And they come out of the dance floor with their fear, and I invite them to embrace their fear, not run from it, not deny it, not pretend it's not there, but to embrace it, hold it in close like you're dancing, and you whisper in your fear's ear, "Oh, master teacher of the moment, teach me what I need to know about you so I can transcend you." That doesn't mean it's going to go away. But as you transcend, we change our perception and our perspective. Okay? And we use fear then as a teacher and a guidance mechanism. Okay? How you breathing? This is a heavy subject, I know. The second question that you can ask yourself on a daily basis We want to know if you feel like you're stuck on the ledge of the uncertainty and you don't know how to go to what's next. Ask yourself this question: what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? And I'll tell you this, I believe that probably every person in this room walked through these doors this morning knowing in the back of their mind or consciously that there's something that they're holding on to that needs to be released, that they need to let go of something, someone, something, okay? And the reality is that if there's a good technique to learn how to discover what it is you need to let go if you're not consciously aware of it. You know what that is? You have to learn to listen to the stories you tell on a repeated basis. You know what I mean by stories? I'm talking, ain't it bad that you watch it, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing. You talk about the story that I got caught on, and I'm going to talk about it this afternoon in the workshop, was I was watching the 6 o'clock news, and that became my story about he or she or they or politics, and the whole thing. It's not a smart thing to watch the news. Stay informed, but don't become dramatized by it, or you lose your awareness. I'll share this afternoon how I was reawakened to realize I was telling a story about the news. I was telling a story about certain people who showed up in the news that I didn't care for. And here's the thing. It's not always negative things that drive our stories. Okay? Sometimes it can be positive things. But understand, one way or the other, when we tell a story often enough, over and over and over, it begins to take on a life of its own. It digs a deeper groove into our subconscious, and it becomes part of the fabric of our being. And pretty soon, when people see us coming down the street, they don't have to ask, "How you doing?" They already know because they've heard your story 1,000 times. But it doesn't always have to be a negative story either. It can be a positive story. Okay, if it holds you from moving forward with your life, you need to look at it. I'm going to share a quick story with you about stories. That's ironic, isn't it? 38 years ago, I first was a minister. I had one of my parishioners come to me for counseling. His name was Stan. He was a sweet old guy. He was 90 years old. True story. 90 years old. He came to me. He was very spry, had periwinkle blue eyes, and wore a little sports cap. He was just really a cool guy. He comes to me. He's very vibrant. He says, "Dr. Dennis, I really have a problem. I need to talk to you. I need your help. Would you help me?" And I said, "What's going on, Stan?" He said, "Well, my wife, my beloved wife passed away for 5 years ago. They've been married for like 40, 50, 60 years, right? And 5 years I've been widower, and I'm ready to get back in the game. There's more miles in me. I want to use them." No, there's an optimist for you, right? And he said, "And I don't have any trouble getting dates." 90 years old. He says, "But the problem is these ladies will see me once or twice and they won't see me again, and it's really driving me crazy. It hurts me. And I need some help. Can you help me, please, to know why I can't maintain a relationship with one of these ladies? Will you come to my house and have dinner, and we'll talk more about it. Maybe you can help me." So I did. He served a mean plate of Chef Boyardee. It was good. But as we ate, he began talking immediately about his beloved deceased wife. I looked around the house, pictures of her on every wall. Her clothes still hung in the closet. Right? He still wore a wedding band. Now, please understand, none of these are bad. These are all blessed memories. And yet, the question is, do these memories, this story that he was telling, he wasn't even coming out of his mouth as much as it was around him, too. Was it holding him back? And I saw that immediately. I said, "Stan, what you need to know is you're broadcasting a message to the universe that you're not available. And the women in your life, there's no space for a relationship." And I explained that to him, and I think he got it. We did some prayer work. I think I was a pretty good practitioner back then because we did some prayer work. And 3 months later, this is a true story, I saw him walking through the grocery store, arm in arm with his fiancée. A younger woman, 85 years old. But it's true. But he got it, you see. It was a lovely, wonderful thing he had to dance with and let go of so he could make space for something new. And there's a time for everything. If we listen to our hearts, we'll know when it is. And one of the ways we find that out is by listening to our stories. He began to listen to the story he was telling. He go, oh, I need to tell a new story. Yeah. You know, there's a great saying in the Tao Te Ching. When I let go of who I am, I become who I can be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. Take a nice deep breath. The third question that you can ask yourself on a regular basis, and I do this on a regular basis. I live in Florida on the water, and I just cherish the opportunity to take time out by myself and sit in my meditation chair out on the dock or the waterway and just really appreciate being there. And the contemplation, the third question is, do I take time daily to contemplate and to think about the gift that has been given to me? You know what I mean by gift, right? The gift of life itself. When was the last time you stopped and really thought about the gift that has been bestowed upon you? No strings attached. Do I take time? And am I honoring the giver of the gift by how I'm unfolding my life? You know, I guarantee you this, if you're stuck on the ledge, you're not honoring the gift. Because you're put here to grow. You are a living, breathing, growing thing. You have to continue to unfold yourself in order to honor your contract with God, to be here. And so what I know is this, is that when, you know, life is a precious pearl of great price, and we take it for granted too often until we're challenged with something that's life-threatening. Then all of a sudden it becomes very important. What if you could every day just stop and for 2 minutes think about the amazing gift that's been given to you and just cherish it and relish it and then make a commitment to share it with the world, in one way or another. What happens is that's when a spiritual awakening happens. You know, in the Eastern tradition, there's a self-inquiry process that I love. It's called the 3 miracles. The 3 miracles. The first miracle is a self-awareness process of the miracle is that anything exists. Be aware of it. That anything exists. Go outside tonight. Look at well, you may not see the clouds and stars tonight, but look at things that are outside that are there. That you ever stop to wonder how the heck did all this get here? It's amazing. It's a miracle, but we don't think about it until we're forced with losing it. The second miracle is that living things exist. Living things that have life force in them exist. Birds, puppy dogs, palm trees, you know, maple trees. I'm trying to think what you guys got up here that's part of your fruit tree. Yeah. Bird trees, did you say? Fir trees. Oh, okay, fir, yeah. Smell like Christmas, right? Okay. Bottom line is that it's a miracle that living things that have this life force permeating them, that moves through them. And say, if it could speak, it's got to say, I got to be more tomorrow than I was yesterday. That's life. Living things are unfolding. They're pushing out. That's a miracle. Some intelligence guiding that. The third miracle is where it really comes home. Living things exist that know they exist. That's you and me. Other creatures don't have the ability for self-inquiry. They're not able to sit and contemplate the fact that they exist. I think they run by instinct. Okay, and once we live in that place of knowing we exist, we enter into self-inquiry. Do you realize what an amazing gift it is to be able to have a thought or experience a feeling, and then step outside of that thought or that feeling and look at it, to examine it, to see if it holds water, to see if it's the truth, to challenge it if it's not the truth about who we are, and to think a new thought. Whew. That's the essence of the teaching, isn't it? Yeah, change your thinking, change your life. But you can't do that if you're not aware. Self-awareness is the key. What happens is that the minute we become self-aware to that degree, when we look in the mirror, we're aware that what we're looking at is the face of God looking right back at us. We look in the mirror and we see the eyes looking back at us. Everywhere I look, oh, I see the face of God. Oh, that's funny. So the reality is that when we have that awakening, when we are able to be conscious that we are it looking at itself, what happens is, the amazing thing is the uncertainty goes away because we have merged with the mystery. The mystery will never go away. The universe is expanding at the speed of light, and even it not knows where it's going. Right? And yet, we're not caught up in uncertainty because we've surrendered and we've become part of the mystery itself. And that's when we realize that we're here on purpose. You're not put here by mistake. You're not here just to jam stuff down your pie hole and suck air. I know that's crude, but you're here for more than that, right? Okay, so the minute that we realize that we're on a mission, we are, and I believe this, so in our workshop yesterday, we talked about the fact that God sent each of us here as it, to know itself, to express itself, to expand itself, and unfold itself by means of its creation. What you realize is that, Richard Bach said it so well. He said, here's a test to know if your mission on earth is finished. It's out of the book Illusions. Here's a test to know if your mission on earth is completed. If you're alive, it's not. Are you alive? Take a pulse. Poke the person next to you. Are you alive? Yeah, okay. So, in other words, there is more for you to do, or you wouldn't be here. But guess what? You got to come to the edge and lean over and trust that there's something within you that knows how to get you to what is next. You have a job. You have a role to play. Move, and the way will open. I close with this, a statement, a great poem by Guillaume Apollinaire, a French poet, mystic, social pundit. He wrote, "Come to the edge," he said. They said, "No, we're afraid." "Come to the edge," he said. They came. He pushed them. They flew. Come to the edge. There's more for you to do, or you wouldn't be here. We're going to dive into drill down on some of these ideas to this afternoon in our workshop. It's about the application of abundance in our life. And sometimes abundance greases the wheel so we can do and be and express ourselves a little more freely. So I look forward to seeing you this afternoon. You have a blessed community here. I hope you really appreciate it. Thank you. Peace.